So I had a question about lasso guard. So if you could come here. So the first thing that I see wrong mostly is when people set up their lasso, and what they end up doing and what I see a lot is as they kick in, they move this person's hand really far away from their own chest. And now they have to like catch the shoulder and then like pull everything in, and like the hand is still close to being circled out. So my first thing is when I want to enter lasso, I make a sleeve connection, and I always think about pinning their hand to my ribs or keeping their hand close to my heart because I love them. Okay, so I'm trying to bring their hand close. And now if you have flexibility issues or you don't want to kick your partner in the face, the goal is going to be to turn on my side as much as I can. And now I can dig, keeping his hand here, and then I can hook in the shoulder. And now when they try to retract their hand and try to circle their hand to the outside of my thigh to defend, it's very difficult. So that initial part of the entry is super important. And then another part is, even if I can't get it quite to my ribs, is people are pulling their elbow back like he's doing right now. And the trick that I have for this is I'm gonna think about, instead of getting my foot into his armpit, trying to sneak it in or something, I'm gonna take my calf and my heel and I'm gonna strike his wrist out of the way. So as I move on to my side, I strike and it opens the arm, and then I can kick and I can retract everything in. And then again, I'm trying to get his hand as close as I can to my ribs, which means the more my leg is extended, the worse this is. The more my leg is retracted, the tighter it is. And now I feel like he's actually loaded onto my hip flexor, onto my knee, onto my shin, onto my active foot. And I feel like I'm ready to play lasso. So again, 2 tricks. 1, keeping their hand here and getting all the way onto my shoulder, making it a lot easier to get over the arm and the shoulder. And then 2 is to try to kind of, as he has his elbow tucked to his hip, as they're here, if I just try to put my foot in, this doesn't separate his hand from, and his elbow from his ribs and his side. So as I come over the top, I'm like calf striking, curling the hand out, and then I'm hooking, and then I'm loading everything up. And now I have what I feel like is a tight lasso. So once I'm in lasso, my favorite thing to do is attack submissions from lasso guard. So I'm gonna go from my lasso to my cross collar. And to start, I'm gonna put my foot on the shoulder, and then I can release the lasso and catch the elbow. And now we're stomping. And as my foot's on that far shoulder, I'm gonna push to rotate, and we clamp. And now we can either lock our figure 4, grab the pant leg, stretch and stomp out, and try to break our partner down. And now we're sitting up, bringing our head diagonally forward until we get that tap, okay? So again, I enter my lasso, however that is, very tight, very controlled, knee to my chest. And now I'm looking for this cross collar grip and my foot on the shoulder. As I release my lasso, I catch the tricep and I stomp. If I feel like they're still facing me, I can just climb using my heel on their back to lift my hips up. And now we're battling for our triangle chokes, okay? So we're here, I come off and I have my 2 submissions off this cross collar. Once I feel like I have the cross collar and my foot on the shoulder, I feel safe to let go. Because even if I'm here and he starts circling his arm to the outside, I'm racing to get my hand on top. And now even if his hand comes on top of my arm, it doesn't make a difference. I'm still pulling it into my lap, and I can climb or push over for my 2 submissions, okay? So that's very basic. My go-tos from lasso, go ahead, back up a tiny bit. Those are my very basic go-tos. Now, once I enter the lasso position and I'm thinking about my sweeps, one of the main things that I do that I don't think a lot of other people do is I take my foot off the hip and I go up here on the shoulder. So commonly when people are passing lasso guard, they try to pass to side control on this side. And then we get into this battle of him trying to drop his hip and get his elbow behind my shoulder and now putting weight on me, and he's crushing me. And I'm trying to throw him over the top. So when I take my foot out and I hook on the neck, if they do this pass, which is why I like doing this, it feels like it's loading my hips and I can open and throw people over. I can either pull them up into the armbar or I can just extend down and try to wrestle on up, okay? So I have my lasso hook and my other foot is just hooking on the other side of their neck. So I have my lasso hook, I'm here, and I'm hooking on the neck. And I'm gonna try to, if they don't move, I'm gonna try to pull myself underneath, catching the leg, and now I pull my heels to my butt, and now I stomp and it launches people and we can attack from there. Arm bars or wrestling on a, for the more traditional lasso sweeps, more traditionally, we enter lasso and I come under the leg and my foot is hooking on this far hip. My feet are open, my shin is rolled out, and now once their head is loaded past my hips, I feel like it's easy to extend and start battling up on top, okay? So back up one more time for this one. As I enter the traditional lasso position, I'm hooking, opening, catching, his head is past. Now I feel like I can extend and wrestle through over the top, okay? The other thing people need to look for is as I go here, if I feel like his elbow comes back to his side too much and he rips his elbow down and I can't get to the lasso, I'll now go under the far leg and I'll switch again to another cross collar. And now as I pull my knee to my chest, I pull this collar and I stomp my foot and then I extend with a big overhead sweep. I call it the Miragali sweep because I've seen Nicholas Miragali hit it so many times. But again, off my lasso entry, I feel that elbow draw backwards and I can't get to my under the armpit. So I go under the leg and now we hunt the collar and now we load. And now we're up and we're attacking, okay? And same thing, if I come over this wrist, I go lasso, and now I feel them step back with this leg too. Now I don't feel like I have access. Now we hook under the armpit, we collect the elbow, and as we collect, we can go over the top and attack for arm bars. So we can use this as like a system of, if he lets me lasso, great. If he blocks the lasso, I can go under the leg. That's great. If I go under the leg and he steps back, I have this arm, and now I'm hooking under the armpit. And now I'm collecting, and as I collect, I'm pulling myself up into that arm bar. Thanks, guys.
Follow for more jiu-jitsu tips and tricks. If you guys have a video or technique request, let's put it in the comments. And as always, till next time, let's get it.